But Roman, you're all good?
Yeah, I'm good now. So I'm Roman Suzanne. I am the founder of Steam Your Dreams, which is a nonprofit based here in Prince George County, Maryland. I'm also the founder of a for-profit production company called Creative Mindset Productions. And I must say, as a producer, I'm not as used with Canva, so especially we got a new setup going on here. So I've been testing some stuff. So full disclaimer, if you see some bugs, we're not quite like moving the way like we smooth and groove. Don't worry about it. It's just that we didn't practice 100%, but we did. We've been working with Javon. Thank goodness for Javon being receptive to and meeting with me, hearing me, and then collaboration. We're gonna hopefully see a little bit of that today because we got 2 hours, but it flies by. So hopefully, again, it's early morning. I set my expectations realistically that it was gonna be like 5 people in the room, 10 people, because we came in yesterday, Justin and I, to pick up our badges, and we're like, man, it's packed in here, and we saw a lot of activity, a lot of stuff, and we noticed the difference between the last few years. This is my 3rd MAGFest, and it's like this year, it's like they basically got an army to quarantine the whole entire area. So I'm like, I'm cracking up that, I gotta, before I even get up to the front door, they saying, hey, where's your badge? I'm like, man, I'm an older gentleman, so you need to probably put sir in front of that, just for jokes, just for fun. But anyway, thank goodness you guys are here. So I'm gonna click on, and we're using Canva this morning. Does this look familiar? I got any Gen X's in the building? No, I'm the only Gen X in the building. Wow, let me tell you something. Who knows anything about design thinking, by the way? Anybody know about design thinking, the process? Because this is like an educational symposium, right?
Yeah.
But we believe in edutainment. But you see some of my favorite characters that I grew up on. Voltron was like number 5 on that list because I really felt like I got the message in the bottle. That's why the message in the bottle sits up there, is because every last one of the cartoons that we grew up in the 80s and 90s has some kind of message in the bottle, except the crazy ones, like the stuff that you see, like you normally see on Adult Swim these days. We don't, you know what I mean? But the, Thundercats always has a message about it. That's my number 1. So, my number 1 cartoon back in the day, animation rather, was Thundercats. I know for a fact that, introduced Coach Justin over there. I call him Coach Justin because we run after school programming, which I'll get you guys to get to know us. But I'm just going to introduce you as Justin Graves. Justin, why don't you say hello, sir?
Hey everybody, nice to meet you. You will learn more about me, but my name is Justin Graves, and it's a pleasure to be here today. This is my first panel, so I'm definitely a bit nervous.
And nervous is good. Yes, nervous is good. And I notice we do have to eat the mic. Why your mic sound better?
Look, it is what it is.
It is what it is. He can rap. No. But
I gave you the lucky one.
Right. So, if you remember any of these, by show of hands, if you know about G.I. Joe, you know about Thundercats, you know about any of these, you know about them? Okay, cool. Because, I just want you to feel like I wanted to connect with y'all because this is what I grew up on. And I know, of course, I have two wonderful kids. They're both grown kids, 31 and 30 now. And I baptized them with Dragon Ball Z. So, and at that world, and now they're anime crazy. My son is he's straight. He in LA. He got his degree in audio engineering, and he's out in LA, and he does a lot of productions and stuff. And he goes to a lot of these Comic Cons and a lot of events, dressed as all different characters. His last one was Rock Lee. It's on his Instagram. I'm cracking up because I'm like, boy, you need to cover your down. You know what I'm saying? Because Rock Lee got them tight things on. So I was just like, man, but he's married now. I'm very happy for him, and he's out in LA. Let's go to the next slide here. And again, I'm just using the slides as talking points because if there's one thing for sure, I don't slide people deaf. I've been in the business of creative director. I've been a producer. I've been in a lot of things, and now I'm a video game developer and publisher and stuff like that. And I've been doing this 20 plus years. I know it doesn't look like it, but y'all probably heard this cliche term that black don't crack. It really doesn't. Now, we just drink a lot of water. No. So you're probably wondering, again, I thank Javon for this panel. I thank MAGFest for having us here. Justin and I are very excited. I think a little bit nervous. I'm definitely sweating at the hand. So if you come shake my hand, I'm probably going to give you a dap because I don't want to insult you with these sweaty hands. Anyway, how do we get here is probably the best way to start this journey for today. And I hope that, Javon, you're ready to go on this journey because, listen, how do we get here is because of this. And I forgot, of course, since we're now using Canva, we got the animations popping up. That was not my intent. I didn't want to be super fancy today. But Canva, of course, probably has some default animation from all the other presentations and panels that we speak on and stuff. But we got here today because a wonderful, a phenomenal event called Ocean Bowl Games. We normally hold Ocean Bowl Games, and it's a 2-day STEM festival, e-gaming, esports tournament that's held in this area. We started it in Baltimore in 2020, 2021. We started with 24 kids in Baltimore at their Starting Steam Your Dreams, of course. And this year, or I'm sorry, in 2025, last year, we had 2 Ocean Bowl games. We had one in Baltimore. We had over 200 kids there. I mean, it was phenomenal, and it was amazing because the kids had to go. Everything we do is gamified. You're going to hear me go deeper into these. We're going to peel back the onion because we got a little time today. But Ocean Bowl Games is really a fun place with the kids. It's safe for them to play, learn, and create. And last year we had 2 championships. We had one in Baltimore and we had one in Rockville, Maryland, at the University at Shady Grove. We have a direct partnership with the University at Shady Grove. And we had a lot of kids there. We had over 200 or 300 kids there, plus spectators and staff and people. And one of those particular staffs, and we had a lot of great volunteers from USG, because you'll hear me say USG, which is University at Shady Grove. And that's how, Miss Ann.
Yes.
Tell us about Miss Ann. Here, I'm the moderator now.
You're right. You're funny. So you're referring to Miss Annie Foster Ahmed, and so Miss Annie Foster Ahmed has known me since I was in high school because I was part of a program called Pre-College Programs that is through the University of Maryland College Park. And so she knew me then, and then all of a sudden she sent me just out the blue an email, and basically was just like, Roman meet Javon, Javon meet Roman. Y'all two both do gaming things. Like, you two should talk. And I'll do anything for Miss Foster. And so I was just like, all right. So we talked, and then we talked some more. And then eventually Roman was just like, hey, I like the sound of your voice. Let's just read these things. And I just kept reading more and more of these things. I was like, all right, what's going on?
I know. It was like, she was so pumped and excited because I would love to, of course, we invite spectators, we invite people to volunteer with Steam and Dreams to be able to do these events. As you can see, MAGFest is a wonderful volunteer. What was your name again, sir? Michael. Michael, he was a saint from heaven who came down, because as soon as we said we might have a God thing. But Michael, we work with a lot of different volunteers, right? So Ann was volunteering a little bit that day, and she came down and felt the energy and vibe because we were rocking. The music was going because they had to go to different STEM expos. In this video, you're going to see it because I don't want to over-talk it. I want you to hear and feel and see it, but I can warn you right now, we didn't test audio, and I already can see that we might have that. But let's see if the audio works, and you'll see what Ocean Bowl Games looks like.
I got to plug something in.
Yeah, because we use the HDMI. Maybe in your video controller it should have been plugged in, but that's all right. We didn't know.
Oh, you're all good. I think the cord is right.
Can y'all read lips?
Separate speakers. Nope, the answer is separate audio system.
Yes, it's a separate audio system.
Yeah, dude. It sure is a separate audio system. Let's pause that because I'm thinking you want to hear. You can see his energy, but let's see. Thanks, guys.
We're just going to wait for the to-do.
All right. Is it on? Is the doohickey on?
Let's see. Test it out.
It's funny. They were asking us, did we need help? And and then next thing we were like, yeah, we fine.
The trick is you always say yes.
Yes, we should have said. We should have said stay behind. Let's see.
Did you actually change it on Windows?
You're right.
Yeah, go. Thank you.
Yeah, because we might need some audio today. We're going to be, again, very interactive. We want you to not feel like you were immersed today. I have a background in immersive media, and so does that young man you're going to meet down there. But you said change the audio, so I need to get the mouse over here. Yes. There it is. And audio control down here. It says rolling. I'm going to go speakers. Okay. You said what now? Plugged up into.
Yeah, it's plugged up.
Yep. Turn up.
Okay, it's coming through here now.
Through there. Well,
Now I'm going to plug it up into here. I just put it in, so let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Come on.
Throughout these 2 days, they're going to engage in games covering science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Let's start from the beginning. This is exciting to look at.
All right, we're gonna go to the full video. It's about 6 minutes. Please enjoy, and it tells you a lot about us and what we've been doing. Believe it or not.
Feeling real powerful and excited because I was just playing against my man Ryan right here. It was tied. It was 4-4, and it was game-winning
might have to
point.
bring this here.
My heart started beating
Esports
fast and
tournament here.
everything. But luckily, they had this little power thing where the opponent stopped. The opponent froze, and then I was able to get a shot, and then I won. I was so happy. I'm so happy. I crammed them. Let's go!
Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go!
I just have to keep pushing through it to win. Come on.
Throughout these 2 days, they're going to engage in games covering science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Got 250 players, 7 schools, but there can only be one champ. So who's it going to be? Stay tuned and find out.
We don't think we're gonna win. We know we're gonna win.
Drop it! Thunder! Drop it! Thunder! Drop it! Thunder!
They are cocky. They cocky.
They're not really in this Ocean Bowl because Holland Park Rec Center is gonna win. We are definitely gonna win.
Take the tablets that we give you, scan the QR code if you think the answer to the riddle.
This is the fastest anybody did it today.
Come on. Come on, hurry up.
We use these titles to come up with something new.
Mackenzie McCheater.
We all know why we're here. This time.
3 times.
That was Baltimore. This is Rockville, Maryland, University at Shady Grove. So who's going home with this?
Hi, I'm your shoutcaster, Cherie L. Smith, and I am here for the 2025 Ocean Bowl Games sponsored by AstraZeneca. I know we just finished up with Baltimore, and that was a lot of action. It was a lot of tears. It was a lot of cheers. It was awesome, but we're not done yet because we are here at the first time ever at the beautiful, the spacious, the futuristic University at Shady Groves for more STEAM-based action. So yeah, there are going to be some nail biters. There are going to be some mind rattlers. There's going to be some teeth clatters. And we are going to find out if our team from Baltimore, the champs, Team XPG, can do it again and take the whole enchilada. But will somebody else come out of the woodwork and knock them off the throne? I don't know. You're going to have to stay tuned and find out.
What y'all think?
It
was cool.
That was dope.
Would y'all have wished that was available when you were young? Well, we as adults, we had just as much fun with them. And I'm behind the scenes, getting gray hair. But I know Justin, he had a busy season with me.
Those were a long 4 days and 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was a long, because we did 2 days in Baltimore, we did 2 days in Rockville, Maryland. It was off the chain. Let me move back over. All right, close that, and then go back over to.
What I enjoyed most about that video was the sheer enthusiasm that I expressed when I was in it, when I was young, playing games and stuff like that. It's just yeah, that's right. I owned you, Eggman. Let's go.
But you kept it cool though. Friendly competition.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we do have rules and regulations where we go over with the kids. We explain them. I grew up playing soccer. My family's part Bermudian, part Brazilian, but I was born in Chicago, right? But I took some of them soccer principles. They get a yellow card for a warning if they bullying, cursing, any of that stuff. We don't play. And then if they get 2 warnings, it's basically an orange card. You're out of that activity, and a red card means your infraction was too bad, so you need to be kicked out of the entire program or event. Unfortunately, in 5 years, we only have 1 red card, so we're very proud of that because that means we're filling in the gaps of providing that social emotional learning and helping the kids to manage their behavior and their emotions, because it's something in the water, y'all. I don't know what it is, something in the social media, but these kids are off the chain. So that's what we did, and it's a perfect arc to talk about what is the secret sauce of Ocean Bowl. How did we get here in 5 years? And let me hit the next button. The secret sauce is really Ocean Bowl. What happened was, and I put this crazy screen up here on purpose because I think with newer divergent brains, I think you can easily assess the story being driven here, right? What it is going on is that guy, Roman, this guy talking on the mic, I won't go third person. I originally was working at the Shed Aquarium, again, as a media, as a marketing, and as a guy. I had many hats, many titles at Shed Aquarium in Chicago. It's a wonderful aquarium. If you get a chance to be in Chicago, it's a beautiful city. Stop by the Shed Aquarium. It's pretty dope. And I was working there, and I was taking a break with a dolphin, and a dolphin splashed me. And that weekend, I wrote a short story about that one question: what if dolphins had their own kind of Super Bowl? And that's how I came up with Ocean Bowl. And I just basically had their best friend, Jay, who's a young 10-year-old boy, and his dolphin friend named Odin. They started. What happened was that first book in the middle there, A Real Gift, is the first book of the series, and the real gift just basically means that Odin is our southern right whale dolphin, and he's a dolphin that southern right whale dolphins don't have a dorsal fin, and they're different. So we're all different in this universe. We all come to this world with special gifts and talents, and we're here with a purpose. We just have to find that purpose. And the book series is really about that. It's really about promoting conservation and being eco-friendly stewards. But it has a lot of helping out with reading, math, and science, which are our trouble points right now in the education space. We're going to hopefully get to talk more about that in this panel. But that's how we got to the name Ocean Bowl, because everybody's wondering, like, dude, it's called Ocean Bowl Games. Why? Because we have a book series that is the theme of our story. And I went to the school of Walt Disney. So Walt Disney taught me, just by watching what he did as a businessman, what he did as a creative, how to really, that stories captivate people, stories connect people to your product or solution that you got out here that's here to solve a problem. So that's what that's all about. And again, it started like in 2007, but I didn't release to like 2010, 2011. It took me a long time to really work out what to do, because I really wanted to rock out with an animation first. You know what I mean? But you and I both know that now with AI, and we're going to talk about that because this whole panel is about rapid prototyping, about prototyping with purpose. With AI now, you can develop a whole entire animation, and you don't have to spend the billions of dollars it takes to build an animation, because I did the budgeting. I was going out there pitching to do the animation first, because I wanted people, because I know with the eyeballs, visual, we're all human, right? Visual is how I capture you. So I know if I put out an animation series or a pilot or whatever, then I would have been able to tell and connect an audience fast and build fandom, which is what I wanted. Why are you going to sleep? Oh, the power. We forgot to hook up the power. Oh my goodness. Justin, you might have to hurry up and get me some power.
Yeah.
Because I jumped. All right. In any case, that's how it all started. So the main characters, I don't know why it's all jumping around, but anyway, Super Mike is there. He's always he's on it. He's like, yeah, what you need? So anyway, that's how I got here today. That we started. I wanted to go animation series first, but I couldn't afford it because I was pitching and people. I wasn't gonna wait. I'm not a wait until I get 100% money type of dude. I will execute. I will design. I will think. I will ideate and collaborate with folks, and I'll get it built. Case in point, with you, Javon. I'm like, why I'm not gonna wait? I'm not gonna wait till I get this B-list actor or A-list actor or whatever. Right. I don't have the time for it. I have the money for it. So I just start executing, which is what I would implore a lot of us to do. Thank you, sir. So it really is. I really follow this, ikigai, which is like, 7 principles of Japanese techniques on how to, live a very, purposeful life. And so we're going to talk about, looking at the why and the purpose and the calling. In that first previous slide, I had a little bell icon on there. And when I was a kid, I liked to doodle a lot, again. And most people will think that if you see a kid these days, they're doodling, they're not doing anything, right? That's not true. A lot of times, if you have doodling, it's been proven by neuroscientists that you're actually consuming information. You can sit there and doodle while an instructor's doing it. The thing is, what are you doodling about? So that's why I had that previous slide. It looked like a big doodle form because I used to doodle a lot as a kid, draw characters, because that's my natural gift and talent. I can draw, paint, and play music since I was 6. But that was a little ring. But now it's all about hearing the call. If you're being stationary in life, you want to stand still so you can really hear, tune into the frequency. I don't know about anybody who's a real geek or nerd when it comes to quantum mechanics, but I've been studying a lot about quantum mechanics. I'm not going to be a quantum physicist or nothing like that, but I've been studying the fact that we're all energy. We're made of matter of energy, and you're going to tap into those frequencies. You feel me? So it's like when we're walking through life, I mean, sometimes we really don't know what the heck we're supposed to be doing, especially with all these gifts and talents. But when you have a gift, your gift is really not for you. Your gift is for others, right? Your talent is how you hone those gifts. And then when you got your calling, your purpose, you're really operating in that gift. You're operating for others. So I really think that when I heard the call to actually build Steam Your Dreams, I really wanted to start off with some games. So my production company, my production company is a for-profit company, and it's called Creative Mindset Productions. And I knew for a fact that I'm an immersive media design expert, And I wanted to build some games that would help Steam Your Dreams execute the programming. And we're going to talk about Steam Your Dreams a little bit more. But Steam Your Dreams is again a nonprofit, and our mission is engage, inspire kids to get into STEM careers. And the key thing there is engagement. How do you get kids engaged? Well, we did the research. I'm a big advocate of doing the research. I just don't build just because. I don't build for me. I build for the kids and people that I'm building for. So I use commonsense.org and other different outlets to look at statistical data of our kids now, because they are a little bit different. They have access to way more information. Would you agree?
Yeah. Like the way in which our media landscape is in the past 5 years is astronomical. Right?
It's bananas.
Yeah. What used to take me forever, or these ancient archival places called libraries. I don't know if you heard of them.
I love them.
I used to go
Congress. You been to the Library of Congress?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. It's on my bucket list. But yeah, I used to go to these things called libraries where I had to sift through these things called books. Let me stop joking. But no, to retrieve the amount of information within the amount of time is at your fingertips now.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing.
So I went ahead and created three. I launched my first game, the first public game, because I normally get paid by big companies to build games. A lot of people don't know. That's why when we coach kids, because they get interested in going into the video game industry and stuff like that, they don't know that most big companies have a creative department. They have a multimedia department that produces this AV stuff, animations, video games and stuff. So that's where I really got my start. I actually got my start working on my first game was for Warner Brothers. I worked for a company called Metamore Technology in Chicago, and my first game was working on Teen Titan game, which was a Macromedia Flash game. Anybody know about Macromedia Flash? Yeah, so that was my first game, and I raised my hand in a big meeting that I would do the music and sound scoring, and I also learned how to do some action script. So I was learning how to do action script, but I mostly did the sound design and the scoring of that game, and that's how I knew I fell in love with using my gifts and talents. Because first I was just getting lost in IT. I had jumped into IT and just been a help desk guy, and then I grew up and then I started doing game development and other things. So I just kept raising my hand, and I did a full circle. That's how the universe had me to find my purpose, because I was able to build this game in no time. I mean, we coded that game in Unity. The first game we built was Scuba Attack, and then we started building, actually, it's not up on the list. I just thought about it. Ballin' Out, which is not on the list. And then we had Beach Ball and AquaBall Clash. All three of those games are now available. And I wanted all my games to have edutainment. I wanted to connect to our proprietary technology called Steam IQ, because we keep track of the questions and stuff that pop up in the game. Like if a kid gets a question in our games, it's going to allow them to get a power up. So that's just pure gamification and edutainment, right? And that's what we do very well. So really the middle part there, when it talks about co-founded a non-profit, I really wanted to make sure it's very clear that we were here to solve a problem. And when I heard about and felt this vibe that 1 out of 6 kids were still dropping out of high school during the COVID era and doing right at 2019 and 2020, I was like, what? I mean, why? Why are they dropping out? And of course, I'm a dude that loves researching. So I was finding out that actually, if you keep pulling back the layers and you go see the kids in schools these days and you find out, you ask them and you ask the parents, you know what you find out? That it's reading. The reading scores suck. They're having a hard time with reading comprehension. And then, of course, if you can't read, how are you going to read some of the questions for the math? You can't do the math questions. So it starts to add up. You start to compound exactly what is the problem. And then you find out this interesting stat. 1 out of 3 kids, 33% of those, 1 out of 6, were black and brown boys. And I was ignited by that. So I was like, this is whack. This is bad. I know how I raise my kids to get engaged and get excited about reading. I took my kids to sometimes at the comic book store with me, you know what I mean? Like different events like this. So to get them excited about what they might feel like want to do. So again, that's how Steam Your Dreams got founded, with the principle of that, to, engage the kids, inspire and empower them. And now hit the next slide, because the next slide is going to talk about our STEAM Alliance journey, because it's busy too. This is just an information slide we normally hand out to people, but it's really about connecting Scholastic eSports as another way, because with Steam Your Dreams, we base everything we do off gamification, as I said. We have a model and a framework, which that model is called STEAM XR Sports. We have a league. STEAM XR Sports, we do three things very well. We always have the kids doing brain games, which are basically STEM and STEAM projects for points. They do playground games for points, which are physical activities because we want to manage that screen time. And we do e-gaming and esports. Now, tell me if this sounds familiar. Now, I don't know about y'all when I was growing up, but when I came home from school, I had to do my homework. Brain game. Technically, brain, just STEM or didn't work. All right? And then I got permission to go outside to play. Now, when I was growing up in Chicago, South Side, we could stay out to the street lights came on. Y'all ever heard that before? Yeah. Right. We were real boys. We were stanky and stuff. So we would play stickball, soccer, all night black. Because we had a very diverse neighborhood. We had a lot of Dominicans, Panama folks in there. A lot of folks on our block. So we got to play almost every sport on our block. So I'm one of 9. I'm 9. I have 6 boys in my family. I'm one of 6 boys, and we were real boys. We turned up. So when you came in from the playground or in the playground game, guess what? You had to come back inside. You had to eat and clean up, right? You had to clean up first, eat. So STEAM of Dreams, we're really good at being coaches, right? We fill in the gap, even though we're teaching about STEAM, but we're also filling the gap of health literacy. How to eat right, how to take care of yourself, right? Because you got to understand these kids, you don't know what they're going through at home, right? They could be not eating, sleeping, all kind of stuff. And we try to just be real good coaches and mentors. We're not teachers. So we try to say, hey, if I have kids that don't know they stink, right? So I help them understand, hey, what you need, I pull them to the side and some of my other coaches, again, helping them to understand that. So again, playground games, and then they come in, you clean up, health, food literacy. We do extra little things to fill in the gap because we provide holistic wraparound services for a lot of the kids that we operate and partner with a lot of schools. So finally, once I'm inside the house. My brothers and I, we play e-games and esports. Back in the day, I grew up on Atari. My favorite thing when my brother brought a Nintendo ES with the Duck Hunt, we was fired. Man, we stayed up sometimes when we shouldn't, and we played Duck Hunt and Donkey Kong. Anything that was available, we had it when I was a kid, and we played the heck out of it. But not to mention, I didn't even know that Gen X, we were the proprietors of esports, right? When I was a kid, we used to go to the arcade. We used to we used to bet $1. We would ante up $1 to go against somebody in Mortal Kombat back in the day. So, and play other games. So anyway, as you can see, I love e-gaming and esports, and so much so that I use it to engage the kids. This slide is just really meant to show you that, there is an alliance that we're trying to build here even more about people that offer esports, but no one was paying attention to elementary school kids. I mean, no one. So we were the first in the country to really say, hey, we need to start early with kids. With Scholastic eSports. And we just didn't want to do eSports. We had to make it scholastic or learning or entertaining because a lot of schools just wasn't going to do it because a lot of schools right now, they don't have the budget for those type of programs. Clubs, they normally do stuff like robotics, stuff like that. So that's the reason why we combine STEAM with eSports and we got STEAM eSports. And as you can see, some of the games they play, in the middle school and high school, the big names, like in middle school, they play Roblox, Minecraft, and then in high school, they play some of the big games in college and so forth and so forth. There is no real game that a lot of parents and teachers will authorize the kids will play because they have violence in them. Can you guys tell me some kind of violent games that you think you wouldn't have your kids play? I'm asking you guys. There's a mic over there too. I don't know if it's powered up, but Mike, can you see if it's turned on, Michael? Can you check? Can you check that microphone right there just in case? Because it's wireless and we got a small crowd. If y'all can move up with something, that'd be great. Because this is an interactive forum. Only reason why we're talking now is because there's a little bit of story. And she's right on time. She's our no, that's not our techie. I'm sorry, that's not our techie. There's a little, it's on? There's a button right there, Mike. There's a button on the microphone. On the microphone. Yeah. If you pull it, you can pull it out. Yeah, I know, that's okay. Okay. Yeah, it's all good. And while he's doing that,
there it is. There it is. There you go. Yep, it's on now.
So, yeah, my question was, you guys, because I'm taking you through a journey this morning here real quick so you can understand how we got here and then what's our purpose and what we're building, because you're going to see a demonstration of our game that we built, our studio is building, called AquaBall League. And so what it is again, doing that research and discovering, I didn't see any really games that didn't promote a live audience other than Mario Kart. So me being an esports producer too, because sometimes I get paid by big companies to put on big esports events, I didn't support Call of Duty. I don't support playing Fortnite at a certain age in elementary school. I just don't. I appreciate the game. I'm a whatever, but I'm not dogging them or dragging through the mud. It's just not appropriate for certain kids when we're already promoting subliminally a little bit of violence. That's just my purview. But I was going to ask you guys your opinion with the mic, but we can move on. We'll come back to that because it is a panel, it's an interactive panel. But the reality is we wanted to build a game that we knew and know that it was all about sports or some way that is easy to play. So because we do play other kind of e-game titles or esports titles like Mario Kart or one of those other games with them, but we're mostly focused on Ocean Bowl games right now since we're building this cool game named AquaBall League. So again, here's a journey. Created the #1 Scholastic eSports League, doing all these great events. We have the Steam XR Sports model, which is very successful. Our Steam eSports program is a special program where we're asking the kids to design and build video game assets or a game, and then they present it like capstone, and then we compete in that game. So that's for our baby or kiddies or juniors or primary kids. And then for our juniors or like middle school or advanced kids in high schools, our STEAM eSports program includes them designing and building games and assets using Unreal Engine and stuff like that. So we're going to look at that, and Justin is going to show that a little bit later. So, a lot of times for Ocean Bowl games, by the way, it's very important to know that we have a league. They go throughout the school year. They go on, they play in these games, they're doing this on the leaderboard, and then next during the summer, they get to Ocean Bowl games and they turn up. So, and that's what leads us to creating the first video game title that we've been, play testing on them for the last 3 years. And of course, we tell them that. We're like, hey, we got AquaBall League. It's great enough for you to play and compete. But we've been refining the product a lot. So we believe in Kaizen, which is iterative or, constantly making changes to the game, continuous improvement. So we got this. I'm going to the next slide. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to skip that for the sake of time, because I'm looking at the time, it's 10:41. Because he's going to show the game. So you're going to see the game. And even though it's only 1 minute. Okay, if you're wondering about AquaBall League is definitely an exciting, fun, simple game to play. And we've integrated education components within the game. Specifically, we're going to rock and roll and launch the game in March of 2026 this year, but it'll be a playtest version on Steam first, right? But it will have still an educational component in that build. And it very much so plays just like Rocket League, but it's with marine or aquatic animals. So, and one of the slogans we like to do and like to say is that you got next. We want to get you in the game. That's why you'll hear me say, get in the game, or you got next. And some of that does sound familiar. It's some Madden stuff, but, without no copyright infringement, is get in the game, because I'm from Chicago. We say the Bears. Anyway, y'all didn't get that. All right? So, without further ado, I want to introduce you guys and let my friend Justin Graves take the mic, and he's here going to describe a few things. And your slide up right now, can you see at that angle? Here's a team.
I got the preview already.
Here's all you, buddy.
Oh, you want me to go ahead?
Yep.
All right. First off, if anybody has any questions, please feel free, and even for you guys, because I will tend to yap. My name is Justin Graves. I was actually born and raised here in the DMV area in Prince George's County, right off of Southern Avenue. So
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right off of Southern Avenue, right in Hillcrest Heights.
Do we need those?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Okay.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah, we do need those.
Yes.
I told him I gave him a cue.
Yeah. Thank you. No, sorry, there's a major distraction, but yeah, we probably we're across the street from each other.
Probably. I'm not gonna say my full address because I still live there, but just know
I
am
get
close.
I get you, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So for my upbringing wise, like I said, I was born and raised in PG County, Maryland, about 15 minutes from here. It was literally a drive. My family, as from literally the moment that I literally grew up was nothing but of service and education. My mom was a daycare worker. My grandparents both were teachers in English and math. One of my uncles is a provost at Virginia Tech, and then my father's a first responder. So a lot of my family's legacy was defined by service, and obviously that sort of influenced the way I grew up. I did it in a very different way from them though, because I knew I wasn't exactly, at least at first, wasn't exactly the most into wanting to teach. So that obviously changed very rapidly. But when I was like in middle school or something, I sort of was just into robotics and STEM a lot. And
a lot. You see some of his TV. He's got a couple. He was interviewed by NBC, DC, and a few others. You think I didn't know this?
That was when I was in my scared PR stage.
But I've been knowing this young man. I've been mentoring him for what, 4 years now?
We're on 4. It's a wild ride that I'll try to condense. But a part of my upbringing when I was in middle school, because I literally went to, I'm going to say it, Benjamin Starter Middle School. Like
you went to Starter too?
Yes.
Okay, we need to debrief afterwards.
Apparently there's a lot of overlap that I'm just learning about. But in Benjamin Starter is when I actually had a very great math teacher who did a robotics program after school. Mm-hmm. And with one of my friends that is on this screen, Aldrin, we actually started to get into Unity, and that was when I was in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade. And that sort of kickstarted my slow journey into game development from middle school. So even though I'm still always learning, it's been something that has sort of become more of a passion for me. And then in high school, I started to get my touch more into the esports sphere with the first nonprofit I ever worked with, which is another local one in Capitol Heights, Patriots Technology Training Center.
Shout out to Mr. Jones.
Yep, one of my first mentors. From there, I worked on their esports program during, I want to say starting in the 10th grade, more so teaching about what I knew about the time, which was very limited object-oriented programming in Unity. And from there, surprisingly, I actually loved teaching a lot, and it sort of helped me see that, and especially now seeing what I've seen since 2020, that there was still that sort of, I guess I would say, critical thinking gap that was, because you guys talking about, short form content and the dropout rate in high school during that time made me realize that, like you said, we have information at the access at our fingertips, but a large part of it was that we don't necessarily know strategies on how to dissect it or explore it further. So when I started teaching that in high school, which it was sort of blind leading the blind, which I'm glad I'm no longer as blind, it sort of helped me want to get more into the teaching side and being able to use sort of my creative skills for, that better. Over time in high school, I also started working in Blender, mainly like low poly and 3D stylized arts. I still have to make an art page, which he's been always begging me to post my content. I will one day. But that led me to enter the University of Maryland in 2021 after I graduated from Oxon Hill High School. In the University of Maryland, I actually started on one of their new majors, Immersive Media Design, which was a collaboration between the computer, mathematical, and natural sciences and the arts and humanities departments for a new major that sort of met the pipeline between, like I said, that more critical art, historical, evaluative thinking with the new innovative technologies that we have. I was on the computer science track, obviously, which UMD computer science is really hard. It is, which I'm
Any
glad
Terps in the building? Okay. Michael's Terp. Okay. Well, y'all, wait a minute. We got a small crowd. Real quick. What y'all, any schools that we should know about in the area? Georgetown in the building. Anybody else? St. Mary's. No doubt. Anybody else? Okay, it's all good. Me too.
What's the out of state, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, I went to Champlain College in Vermont.
Okay.
Okay.
Tried a boot camp in Columbus, but it was good for the time.
Okay. Awesome.
What's
Thank
up,
you.
man? Yeah.
Right, awesome. Yeah, so I went to University of Maryland for 4.5 years. Completed my bachelor's in immersive media design this past December, and during
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. And during my time at the University of Maryland, I still remember this because this was freshman year. It was the first time that I met Roman over a Zoom call. And the first time we ever met, our Zoom call was about 45 minutes in between my classes. I was geeking out over Riot Games.
Yeah.
That is literally the first time that we had our full talk.
Yeah.
Because at first, man, when I was doing an esports event for the former nonprofit I worked at.
And I dragged you. I dragged him, not drugged him. It's like, come work with us.
Here's the proper word.
Come build some games with me. Go ahead.
And from that time, I have since served with him as one of the head coaches for Ocean Bowl Games. I was there from the very beginning in 2021 with the 24 people. Since then, outside of that, I've also done a lot of senior dreams programming, directly interacting with the kids, which elementary school is a bit of a different crowd than I was used to, but I tend to actually really love it. And starting around last year was when I was able to use my skills, which I'll talk about later when we talk about behind the studio.
We're actually finna go in right now. You can take us inside his skills, his journey. I just appreciate this young man and his growth. I've seen him grow from I've been coaching him how to be a good UI, UX engineer, and he has natural gifts and talents. So, Justin, why don't you get ready to take us inside Unreal Engine and what you've learned about the game AquaBall League. We want to show off this game because you saw the kids getting very excited and all that energy. It's because the games we've been creating and the wonderful immersive experience we provide for them. So, Justin, you want to do the honor of showing off, going inside and talking about your journey with AquaBall League?
Sure, I'll go ahead and talk about that. So, with AquaBall League, I started out roughly, I would say, full development in 2024? I would say.
We started AquaBall League, believe it or not.
I meant when I took full heavier duties on
2023, believe it or not.
It's been a long couple of years.
Yeah, 2023, yep.
All right, I will not have audio on mine, which is perfectly okay, but this is, yes, the Unity in Editor preview. I've actually spent the last week grinding it out.
We've been grinding, y'all.
But in terms of at least my personal experiences with Unreal Engine, I actually started in Unity, and that's what University of Maryland used a lot. So the balance between going from Unity to Unreal, which I'm glad I get to talk about this and yap a bit. If anybody wants to pick my brain, please go right ahead. I have many thoughts. Was, even though it still made a lot of sense, it was still a bit of a learning curve. But I think that's something that was a lot more, I guess I would say, pertinent or important in terms of my journey starting out with this. Was I started out as I wouldn't say lead developer, I worked up to that, but it was more so in terms of UI UX, which is, if you know Unreal Engine, very, very interesting, because I'm just going to go into, yes, you guys are seeing behind the scenes. Ignore all my naming conventions, because I do disagree with some of them.
Does anybody know how to build games in here? Any video game developers who work in this field, like music, gaming?
I will pick your guys' brain later on, I promise. But if you don't know what Unreal is, it is node-based programming, which my traditional training was always in C# with object-oriented programming, which, while they're both the same, and yet again, ignore the nodes because it's a very long graph, it was definitely a learning curve, which I guess it's weird to describe in terms of my journey, because I guess I'll say with my journey, because I started out in Unreal, or in Unity, a lot of my original comprehension, literally from 8th grade, came from following YouTube videos. That's like how I started out. And then when it came to University of Maryland, that's when I actually started to, let's say, get a larger grasp on like the actual algorithmic critical thinking, which I guess I'd say that's the key that helped me sort of travel from Unity to Unreal. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm getting into the more yappy side of it. And
yeah, we're not going to get super technical, but the reality is, like he said, the drag and drop functionality of Unreal is one thing that I think Justin, anybody who has worked with Unreal or any other video game developing software, this is the future of programming, where you're dragging and drop, and as long as you have a good sound knowledge about computer science, if-then statements, logic, all that good old stuff, right, you could really design and build games. And today is about rapid prototyping. We're about prototyping purpose. What we're talking about, we use a process and methodology called iFast Track. And it's really about looking, reverse engineering a lot of stuff sometimes, and then, of course, rapid designing and developing. And with Unreal Engine, you're able to do that. You're able to do that with all the tools that we have and so forth and so forth. So the going inside of the game, I mean, we literally just made those changes all those weeks. And Justin can tell you a little bit more about, well, what are some things they should watch out for when they're working with Unreal Engine?
If you're going to work with Unreal Engine, please do read the documentation. I'm going to tell a very funny story about multiple bugs that I came along with. I would probably say this was about like back in November, because I was working with an on-screen keyboard. I'm actually going to go into one of the quick plays. Some of these were I have no clue if this is going to work. Yep.
It's working.
So in this game, you're allowed to choose from 8 characters right now. 4 of them are named Demo because I have not finished full work on them.
I think I better fill in the gap a little bit about the storyline just real quick while he's talking, and then if we're going to have this we go back and forth. What it is that in the Ocean Bowl series, remember I created this children's series, right? You got Jay and his dolphin friends. They take a soccer ball and they start their own sports league. The sports game. They first of all do a playground. They go around the whole ocean world. This world called the Isles of Atlantis Primes. There's a seaport city called Jamrock Bay. Anybody know where I got that name from? Anyway, so they have created this game called AquaBall. Basically, any ball you throw in the water that they love playing, and I base it off real science a little bit. But they love playing AquaBall. But then the game got so popular in their world, in the book series, that they started a league, and it's called the AquaBall League. So it's basically water sports played by marine animals. And this is the game we created to kind of pretend we're in their world.
Yeah. So funny story. He knows how much the keyboard was a pain to work with, but the idea of it in terms of flow was that, since this is played on PC, in terms of controllers, let people learn a name with controller. For anybody who is a big programming nut or has ever used Unreal Engine, because I wanted to do it, at least at first, I was like, let me just take over control of, the gamepad, face down button, so that way, whatever controller you have, it would work. Turns out that actually hijacked input from the player controller itself. So I had a bug where literally every time I backed out, I couldn't mess with player 1 anymore. And then I had to do hours of research, probably about 5 straight hours of research.
Your pain is somebody's gain. Because if you post a blog about it.
Only to find out in the Unreal forums that gamepad navigation was already built in. And I pretty much spent 2 days hijacking it, only to find out I didn't have to. So I guess I'd say one point of why I said that in terms of funny story is that, especially for people who are interested in becoming part of indie productions or smaller scale teams, which is that you're always going to learn and you're never going to know it all, especially when you're going into something that is completely different in a way from what you've previously known. And though that was beginner error on my part, I am very grateful to have the Unreal forums, which I guess point of what I'm trying to make is that part of the philosophies that I've learned or tried to, and guess what I'm trying to sort of reinforce now, and what has also guided part of my thinking, especially when talking with other graduates from my program, is that a lot of this indie sphere, especially within the community, especially in DMV, because we actually have a lot more indie developers than Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Independent Game Developers Association in DC and Baltimore.
Yeah.
The local DMV region.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you're not going to do it where it takes a village to raise a people. So in terms of finding stuff, because I literally found this out from somebody who ironically is in the DMV of that fix, which I was like, God, I am sometimes very blind, is that do not be afraid to reach out to these places to actually form that active community. Because they'll support
like coming
you in
here
your
and
projects.
stuff. Yeah,
they'll actively support you in your projects and help you out, even if you don't want to talk about the full behind the scenes.
right.
And B, which is that don't be afraid of using, something that feels, you could say, derivative to start out. Because that's something, at least part of what I've always done, is like, I'm afraid of.
Because you were afraid
what
of
might
Unreal
be-
Engine. When I approached him, Justin, about, hey, I need you to learn Unreal Engine. At first, I could tell he was very skittish because he had been working and studying at school. And I told him the fact that Unreal Engine in the industry, like I work with Unreal Engine with a lot of other big-time animators and producers. Unreal Engine is the tool of choice for a lot of TVs, like Fox Broadcasting, stuff like that. We actually use Unreal Engine to do some of those Fox animations for NFL football and yada, yada, yada. I'm the guy who helped to design the cartoon effect for that and some other junk. But the reality is he picked it up. You got to tell him the tools. Now, let me explain to you guys. This guy showed me that he's very good at YouTube University. Like, again, you know what I mean? It's like, I need to do X, Y, Z, right? And Unreal, he looks it up. And now what's another tools you would use in your development process to wrap? Because this panel is about prototyping purpose. So we're giving you the tools on how we've been prototyping or rapid prototyping to build this sports league and esports, but we had to have a esports title. So, Justin, what are some of the tools you use other than Unreal Engine?
Thank you for mentioning that. Outside of Unreal Engine, a lot of other stuff that at least I've used is, because it's free and it doesn't require Adobe Suite, because I was a broke college student, even though I had access to it, but I no longer don't. Krita for anything that is 2D graphics wise. Krita or Eclipse Studio Paint. I love those. I see you're nodding, you know it. And Blender. I was not that big of an art guy. I'm still not the best at doing 2D digital sketches. I'm starting to work my way there in terms of my personal stylings, but especially in Blender, a lot of the things, at least that for ABL that I've done, is a bunch of optimization in Blender. It also forced me to do dreaded UV texturing and layouts, which I see them nodding. UV texturing and layout is not for the weak. So I had to learn a lot of optimization, again, through the Blender forums and community, which I'm so glad they made it open source, free-to-use software, is one of the best. I will stand by that. And I did use Maya before. I still stand by it. That Blender is one of the best. But in terms of the tools I used, outside of Unity and Unreal, for a lot of the graphic stuff and animations, a lot of them were Blender or Blender, Krita, or Eclipse Studio Paint. And a lot of it was, I would say, a bit more community-wise, which also is another thing I would say, don't be afraid, especially if you're starting out, because I tell students this all the time. If you're looking it up, it's okay to take inspiration as a starting template, and then that's where your own creativity comes in. If you need that help to start out, that's more than perfectly okay. Because a lot of this is about, use the community to pass on what was learned to those who want to learn. And then from there, giving them that small access, and then asking that point of, how can I iterate upon it to make it something that is my own, thanks to the help of such a gifted and gracious community. That's the part that I feel like a lot of, at least from the people that I've met within the indie sphere and within the Epic forums, I feel like that's a large part of what these communities have sort of formed around to do, especially within the indie sphere.
I think that since this is not the forum or panel for us to go super deep dive into tech, but it's just important for us to have said that, hey, what are the tools that we've been using to build the game? Because we want to come back. We do want to go deeper than woods. We want to build that community, that tribe, to develop, edutainment games or even just games in general. But the reality is there's a synergistic workflow that we have, an iFast track that we have. And I see your hand. is that you got to understand, like, we're rapid prototyping. Like, we're using Canva to do storyboarding. We're doing all that, right? Sometimes we do it through research assets. We're using YouTube to study stuff. We're using Meshy AI. We'll talk about a little bit about that today, about how we use Meshy AI. It's a wonderful tool. There are tons of new tools that allow you to do 3D models. And then we take those 3D models and fix them up in Blender and optimize them and stuff like that, because we're a small indie firm. When I say small, it's Roman, Justin, and my freelance contractors, and you saw some of our team members and advisors on the previous slide. So having these tools allows you to accelerate and get done what you do. The future belongs to those of us who have a great imagination and creativity. So if you have that now, the tools are yours. And AI is a tool, robotics are tools, 3D printing, anything that you can think about, the technology is there for you to rapid prototype and solve some of the biggest problems and challenges you have out there. Now, that microphone, you need the mic? Because it's wired. You can talk. Okay.
Yeah. So I see all of the infrastructure that built the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very curious as to how you're building the esports side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of community building, coordinating with event planning, and probably tools as well. What kind of work is going into forming those kinds of relationships?
Well, that's a great question, and I hope that we're going to dive a little bit further as I'm going to peel back the onions. And in fact, can you switch over to make sure that we're going to cover that? Hit next slide.
As that one's
that's
you.
me. Yeah, that's me.
I could give him a tease if you want me time to
Absolutely, you can talk about it. Yeah.
So I am glad you asked that question.
Because remember, he asked, "How do we build this thing up?"
Yeah. A lot of it is through in terms of a part of taking something and making it into that esports community, especially because of the age range that we're dealing with, was that initial accessibility. So at least I can say for a fact that when it came to going to schools, I've been doing a lot of programming in Baltimore originally, Baltimore City Parks and Recs. Then I'm starting out in MoCo. I actually did one session yesterday. A lot of it was initial accessibility. A lot of the recreation centers that we went to, they didn't necessarily have, they might have had like a Switch or a PS5, but that was pretty much it. A lot of the needs in terms of esports for that initial accessibility was what kind of tools, which is why I keep promoting so many free ones like Krita and stuff like that, is what kind of tools are free, especially for people, who do also want to pass on that knowledge, and what kind of tools I would say are optimized for things that, might exactly be quote unquote old or might not be, the most cutting edge. Because trust me, I was talking with somebody yesterday who actually popped in here. They create, I want to say, emulated Doom on 1084. They did a panel last year, which I was like, you gotta tell me more about that. So I gotta try to see if I can hunt that guy down this weekend. But in terms of the esports, part one is accessibility.
Well,
part two that we'll get into is, I'm not gonna take away the thunder.
No,
but it's about incentivizing. It's about incentivizing the community, parents included, to have a reason to come together. Trust me, I'll say at least for like Ocean Bowl Games 2025, because we did too. We were both exhausted, especially during DMV.
We're done.
And I can tell a story for a fact. During one of for Montgomery County for one of the championships, I feel so bad too. It was Mid-County Recreation Center. They made it to the finals. One of the girls unfortunately had an emotional moment because she was so afraid of losing. That entire rec center, with the parents included, they all went out there. They comforted her, and all of them came back in. And then I'm pretty sure you saw it, right? How literally didn't matter which rec center, all of them came cheering. That whole that part of having that drive to come together, in terms of especially starting out this young, because if you start out this young with that emotional drive, with that empathy, that part is what can alter how exactly esports, for them is defined going forward.
I think you did a great job of slapping the butter on the toast, but let me tell you the toast, because let me make sure I kind of addressed some of that question. We can talk more offline, and then of course I'm here to build community. The reality is it's taken a long time to get here. Myself and the leadership of Steam Your Dreams are the reason why we have an esports league. I come from I'm an R&D guy, research and development, but I'm also an esports producer. So I've done big events. I had big dollars to do Call of Duty, major events. And if I was still in that space where I like a lot more violent games, I might say, I probably would have been doing the ones in Abu Dhabi, which is the $10 million ones. I'm pretty sure you heard about the Evo and all that stuff. That's the format that I help inspire. And that's the format of Ocean Bowl games. They got to go around to different STEM or brain games to earn points. They got to go playground to earn points. And then they get into an e-gaming tournament. And then they get knocked out through playing one of my games I developed called AquaBall Clash, which shows like a touchscreen air hockey. Because we wanted it to be inclusive. We want all kids, all girls, all boys, everybody to be like, you can play a game. That's a beautiful thing about e-gaming and esports. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. But when it comes to building community, to building esports, we had to show and prove to a lot of people that it's not about screen time. It's not about them sitting down all the time. It's about them coming in a community and a safe space for them to play, learn, and create. And then we reached out, myself, through some of my relationships. I had to go out there and pitch, sell, market the reality to Baltimore Parks and Recs. I started my first pilot program, Steam Your Dreams, down in Tampa, Florida. I did 30 boys down there in Tampa, Florida, and I showed that e-gaming was a great way to get kids who are on the spectrum, have autism and all that stuff. You can't sit them still. I showed them that gaming can get their attention. I also was showing them that sometimes you need a man to step in. I'm just being real. There are a lot more female teachers. We all know this. But sometimes men, we can come in, of course, to provide better after-school program in terms of that kind of physical activity, get them up, push them around. Kids like to jump on our back. The women don't want the kids to jump on their back. But we want to tumble with them sometimes. We don't get as physical with them anyway, but we make them do a lot of exercise. But our esports is Scholastic eSports. So our community building is about working with the parents, working with the rec centers, because, again, Scholastic is the way we get the early age kids, because we're putting the STEM and the STEAM in it. They're doing that to earn points and play the esports, especially when you see them play AquaBall League. In order to activate some of those team powers, which you'll see, I'm looking at the clock, the team power-ups, we have them to do math exercises in our magazine, for instance. For Ocean Bowl games, we print out a magazine. And this last year, we had issue number 2 was called Quickie the Kid. And it's a story about a turtle who is inspired to enter into the AquaBall League, but he has to go through trials and tribulations to get there. And his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa is a sea turtle, and sea turtles live 300 some years sometimes. So and Quickie makes it to the goes to the trials or whatever. But in the magazine, it's an activity workbook. I grew up with those Scholastic worksheets. Remember those when you had to do the math and that's what I'm saying. I'm taking a lot of what I grew up with, and I know worked kind of for me and worked for other kids, and I'm kind of bringing that to it. So we can go more in depth, but I hopefully started the conversation or answer some of the stuff that's going to be necessary for you to understand that it took a lot of work to get where we are now, but we see this, especially our Ocean Bowl games, as an event that especially, like, we would love to hold a special Ocean Bowl Fest here at MAGFest, right? Where we have a whole bunch of kids come through or whatever, and parents can, do an esports tournament here, and we have a ball. So anyway, everything we do, I'm leading right, it arcs right back to this slide. Everything we do is gamified. Okay, if you look at the definition of gamification, it talks about us making it for a purpose with education or whatever. What are we doing? What's the reward? What's the award they're getting? So a lot of with Ocean Bowl games, they win cash prizes and awards. So they're already motivated by that, but they're motivated by the games. So it's pretty cool. If I go to the next slide, I'm really about to talk more about steaming it, and we're about to get very interactive now. And I'm going to show you a little video because I love this video. I truly, truly do, guys. And I think you're going to enjoy it. 1 minute.
Take a picture of them.
Oh my god, this is so hard. Because this is wait a minute. In the ocean.
And then they will what?
So like the person has the ball, so they're coming. They can use camouflage, go this way, take the ball, and score. You can duplicate the cells.
What?
The penguins.
Say it again.
Maybe penguins can duplicate the cell. What about a summit crab instead?
Huh?
I'm thinking maybe like a summit crab. They can use the shells.
Which one?
Summit crabs.
What?
I'm thinking about the crab I made.
Yeah.
What about we can... Man, do crabs have shells?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
Maybe they can use the shell to block the ball when it comes and tries to hit the thing. Only if like maybe like in the goal or like right in front of crab's claws. They can hit the ball.
Yep.
And then it can it's like a super boost, so it like goes further.
It goes further. The ball goes further.
Yeah.
If it hits the claw.
So, just tell you what's going on a little bit. I'm sure you can read, hopefully, right? Yeah, we can all read. What's happening is, again, we're designing games like CMP for Steam Your Dreams, our nonprofit, to operate this programming. And the game that we're most excited about now is this great game called AquaBall League, because with eSports,
Take a picture of
you know how shorts run. They'll keep running back and forth and over. So the whole idea was we started building a foundation, which was the league and the community first. And we had e-gaming to start off with, but we didn't have a solid esports title that I felt good that matched Ocean Bowl, like the title. Again, staying with Walt Disney, the theme, the story, Ocean Bowl. So I want to make sure that we built a game based upon the storyline. So we did that. So that's what leads to iFast Track. We wanted the kids to understand how to STEAM it, right? STEAMing it meaning, in the letters of STEAM, they had to do science research, okay? They had to do technology, they had to do engineering, they had to do art. So we wanted to, again, the concept of AquaBall League is to have some educational component. We want our audience and community and fans to feel like they are a part of the game. They're gonna build characters. Every year, we're gonna launch with allowing, maybe 1 to 5 kids allowed to design and build characters to put into the game. And sometimes we'll have a special sandbox build for the game that will allow them to build their own characters, because with AI, they can sketch stuff and then say, hey, and then prompt, and then they can create a character, and then with some special animation automated tools, we can automatically try to get them in the game. We plan on building that out over the years. Right now, we're getting ready to launch just the basic sports mode, but that's the whole concept, is to really get the kids in the game and allow them to STEAM it. Okay, and that's our framework and flow. Every game we do, everything we do is gamified. There's a trivia engine, assessments in the game, and Steam IQ again is our proprietary technology. It's a web app that allows us to keep track of special data, like how long they're staying in the game, how many questions they're answering, and so forth and so forth. So with AquaBall League being a PC-based game and so forth, we plan on transforming the world and changing the dynamic of how kids at an early age can be a part of esports, okay? And still get some learning, which is what they need. So it's time for us to get a little interactive. I know we talked a lot because we had to give y'all the background and the story, but I personally like panels where I'm interactive. I would have fell asleep if somebody's just talking to me. I love that quote by Ben Franklin. He says something like, if you tell somebody, I'm gonna forget it. But if you teach it to me, I might remember it. But if I involve you, you're going to learn. And that's what we're going to do right now. So if you can do me a super solid and participate, there's a Mentimeter QR code on the screen. There's also our Discord, because if we run out of the time, because we're going to stay on point here, we run out of time, we will show you this work. We're going to iFast Track right now. We're going to STEAM it and iFast Track. I need you to help us create a Marine character if you would like to. We want you to create another Marine champion, because a lot of our Kickstarter supporters, if you brought a certain package or reward, we're already going to build some of their characters in the game. We got you saw the Arctic, the penguin, the football-looking big penguin. That's from Kyson, the kid that was in the video. They also created a crab with a helmet, So that player is going to be in the game. So let's do the Mentimeter. I'm going to start it up over here. Start presentation. All right, I think I see some folks joining in, and we don't have a lot, so that's great. So that means I can get to moving. Is everybody in? Thumbs up. Everybody's good.
Almost. We have some
I see the hearts. There you go. I love Mentimeter. Again, I love doing interactive panels and stuff. I don't like to sit still all dang day. All right.
Wait, hold up.
Almost? Okay. It's not scanning where? I'm sorry. Okay. Awesome sauce.
Roman, what I liked about that video that you showed was like the critical thinking process, like on display. Like that right there was like, okay, yes, like yeah, like just thinking about like penguins. I think like penguins, and I want them to duplicate. I was just like, well, there are a lot of penguins out there, so honestly, that's a cool mechanic to think about.
He thought about that. That's what I said. It excites me of the possibility of how many kids we're going to reach, and how many parents are going to be excited that their kids are going by themselves to use YouTube to search and do science research and stuff about environmental scientists and ecological studies and stuff, because that's what we're going to promote: reading, math, and science, right? And I love the fact you see that and feel that, because his frequency went up. They got crabs, they got shells. I was like, oh, yeah. So anyway, on the slides on your phone, there's a Q&A, by the way. You can do that. And of course, you got, what is it, name, what is it you want to build? What kind of champion you want to see in the AquaBall League? You know, what is it, what's the name? What does it do? Describe the look and feel, and the science and the special ability. And if it evolves. By the way, we're helping the kids understand about evolution, right? How things can evolve, the capabilities. So if I hit the next slide, now it's even, I can't show it on the screen, but I can show it on the screen. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Justin, I'm slacking.
I was gonna say, if anything, while you tell you what, I'll let you log in the Mentimeter, and while I do that, I can also touch on some points as well. Okay. That way nobody sees the screen. That way nobody sees the screen.
I gotta move. You know, I can't see over there. It's extended.
Oh, true. It is extended.
Can you post the link to the Mentimeter on the Discord? I can only get the Discord.
I can most likely do that right now.
Okay, cool. Help me out here. I'm gonna bring up Mentimeter.
We are always doing it live. And it should be in the announcements. If I put it in the right server. Nope, I am in fact in the wrong server. All right, it is now in announcements on that server. Yeah, so while we are waiting for that, I guess Roman, what I can do is talk about the process of how we actually, of how it's been playing the games. And I am saying this from somebody that has been in the weeds with it, with this. So some takes I might actually have that are a bit hot, that might be a bit spicy. But in terms of what exactly I love about the idea of kids being able to put their own characters in the game. At least, obviously, we talked about the critical thinking that I'm not going to beat to death. But I also love the fact of how exactly this can grow. Because as much, trust me, I know he always covers the critical thinking lens in terms of the STEM education. But a lot of my upbringing was, I've tended to have a lot more in terms of the art side and perspective of it, at least like over the past 4 years. So to me, it's interesting to see how it's going to, in terms of this education through STEAM XR Sports, how it's going to encourage a lot of, students, as we saw they were drawing, to get started in terms of when they think about, design, how exactly their identity stands out in terms of, hey, what are my art styles going to be? What are my proportions going to be?
Right.
And then in terms of exactly what is going to be taught with them as he pulls up the Mentimeter, because we did practice it, in terms of what exactly is going to be taught with them in terms of the development process. And at least for the development process, I will address some of the stuff because I think there's a healthy conversation that can be had afterwards, and that can also be had in the Q&A in terms of a healthy conversation. is that he knows for a fact that with those models, sometimes they can be a hot mess.
They can be a
I'm going to
hot
tell
mess.
a true story. Hopefully, if there's
So you
anything,
can't rely on Messier or these other attitudes. You're gonna
hopefully, if there's
show
any
these skills.
yeah. Hopefully, there's any artists in here. You guys understand the pain. If there's any 3D people I've done like Blender or stuff before, I was given some. What is it? I think Odin was one that was given to me. It was about 780,000 triangles, I want to say. So you can tell in terms of UV modeling, that one was a bit, ugh. That took me about a good, few hours to fix, I told you about.
Yeah.
But I think that in terms of exactly what this can go forward in terms of how it's integrated into the game, because we've had conversations about this.
Yeah.
A lot of it that kids are also that can learn is with these open resources, there's also that critical lens thinking of, what exactly is the model training, because that's also things that are coming up with a lot of these games. Like I followed the whole Expedition 33 drama, and there was a new drama that came out with, I feel bad that I forgot the game, but it always opens up the lens of transparency about different models that are used, where it comes from, which I think can be a healthy conversation to have, especially within the indie community, as well as what serving it is, because in terms of at least my program, over the past year, I wouldn't say year, but over the fall semester, there was a lot of talks in regards to that, since all of these started popping up, of what does that mean, especially for those who are entering the workforce and want to be involved within the creative process. There's a lot of questioning and confusion around that in terms the indie sphere and these tools.
Yeah.
That a lot of that critical thinking can be raised as soon as you're young. In terms of kids, do not fret, because there still has to be all these other conversations from those different critical perspectives.
I got you. And thank you for helping to fill that gap and then add some real, again, butter on the toast. And you guys, I see some of y'all jumped in here and right away put some cool stuff. I'm excited about seeing this demo. We're going to fast track it. You steamed it right here. And I think you can vote. Do you see the voting? It says start voting. I'm going to start the voting right now. Which one do you guys want to see created out of that? On your phones with the Mentimeter, it's going to say, hey, vote on which one you want to vote, and then we'll see. What I'm going to need you to do is let us know, and then we're going to try to use Meshi AI to create that 3D model. And then while Javon and I are going to, arc into a different part of the panel real quick, because we still got time to go through these two interactive demos that we're doing. We got one more major interactive demo, which is to play the game. This whole time, we were sitting, we can't wait to play the game. But the reality is, there is a room called the Mezzanine 3 room.
Mezzanine 3.
Yeah, we're going to move down there for a little bit. Or we're going to also be outside the room here if you want to come play the game more with us and have more conversation with it down there. So again, it's Mezzanine 3. We're going to have it on the big screen TV, the game. We'll be able to play and so forth, so forth. So we got some votes. Let's see what it says. If I say end voting, which got the best vote? We got a tie. Javon, you're the tiebreaker. Which one?
Oh my goodness. Okay, what is
the first one says, I would create a sea serpent named Slytherin. Okay, we're going to move that out of the way. We know which one it is.
That was a test.
Yeah, that was a test.
Okay.
Because that was a test. Horseshoe crab, slow, tanky, strange, and pointy. Who did that? Yeah, all right. Slow. What does tanky mean again? Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Meshi AI to create that. All right. Do you have a mock-up of it? Because Justin, you're going to do that.
I was going to say, don't be surprised if I interrupt for some important talking points if I'm going through it.
For the sake of time, though, because we got to have enough time to shut down and pull everything out. What we're going to do is we're going to create that for you through Meshi AI today, and we're going to post it in the Discord. That sound cool? And then, of course, you guys, how many by show of hand have ever used Meshi AI? I tell you what, I'm going to drag that to the screen so you can see what it looks like. Mesh AI is a tool. You got to buy credits to really do a lot of more advanced stuff, but it is free if you want to. They give you a certain amount. These are an example of objects that I created an image. I created a 2D image, and then I use this Mesh AI tool to create the 3D model. You can download it, load it into different type of formats, OBJ or FBX. Anybody know what that stuff means? Of course you do. Some of you guys do, but some of you guys like, I don't know what that is, but you can easily take this 3D model and then add it to a game that you're building, a 3D game, whether it's in Unity. What's that name of that other app? What's the name?
Talking about good?
Yeah, good. Yeah, that one.
Godot?
Yeah, Godot. Right, exactly. I just haven't built in it. I'm not being offensive. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm just showing you guys that we've taken, even today, yesterday, Justin and I were working our butts off to get some of these 3D models in the board, and you're going to see some of these brand new 3D models that we're going to add. We added into the board. Again, it's about rapid prototyping. We're using AI as a tool to, hey, let me get this done. Let me see what it looks like and feel like in the game and see if the kid's going to like it. We're going to play test with the kids. If the kids like it in the background, we'll keep it. We'll make it better. We'll optimize it. We'll go back in the blender, clean it up. We'll go use other tools, because a lot of times with the AI tools, you have a lot of triangles or what do they call it? Thank you, polygons. And that's going to cause performance to degrade, because this is a kind of a low poly design, comic art stylized artistic design. That came from the creative director, this guy. So I wanted to make sure we stayed that, and then he and the rest of the team are staying within that. As a product manager, I'm teaching him as a young product manager how to stay on task, how to keep the North Star going with what you're designing and building. And as you can see, this is a kind of a low poly, kind of like that, but again, like that UV, turning off the PBR, all that stuff like that. With that being said, it's 11:30 in the morning on a Friday. Who's ready to turn up? No, let's move down the slides a little bit, because I did want to make sure I open the floor back up and go back over to, let me shut this down for a minute. Let me go over to Mirror. I'm over here. Let me hit escape, come out of that. We have that now. And we're just going to pick somebody from the audience, because for the sake of time. We're going to go over here back to the presentation and see some important stuff that we can talk about real quick. Just Us Mages. Let's talk about this real quick. And, let's spend a few minutes, because we really want to have time to kind of straighten up and clean up. And we want to have time to have our final grand finale, which is we're going to ask somebody in the audience to come join Team Roman. And that's Team Justin, Team Javon. So you can get the troll set up and ready to go.
They already are.
Yep. So Just Us Mages. Gaming and esports, can it really work? Prototyping purpose. Games don't fix education. Javon, what do you think about this? Can you see from this angle? Yeah. So it doesn't fix education by itself. I think when we design with purpose and intent, it can solve some issues, like attendance. With esports, you can say, hey, if you can't play in an esports league at the school, if you don't come to school. Hey, Mom, I got to go to school. Right. You feel me? It can help with engagement. You got kids that don't know how to sit still. I got kids that right now in MoCo, of course I won't say names because I keep my kids safe, that are on the spectrum. They can't sit still. They're bouncing around, blah, blah, blah. When we brought up ABL or some of our other games and activities, boom, locked in. Ooh, you designed that. Critical thinking. They're letting us know that even though to you I'm weird, I'm different or whatever, I can still think. I'm processing a higher. Sometimes I'm thinking way more powerful than you. And this young kid showed me the world the other day in Montgomery County. That he was like, I see you use some kind of 3D modeling. Da, da, da. I'm like, he had never spoken the entire time during our after-school program. He was always in the corner tearing up paper or doing something else and doodling and stuff like that. But the moment we showed him that we did other games and either games, he got locked in, and he was engaged, and he was informed, and of course he showed us that he can steam it. So that's pretty cool. And what do you know about kids playing it right now? Are we keeping track of what they're doing right now? Do we know, what they're playing right now? The global esports market is projected to still grow. It's settling in. The esports 1.0 bubble has burst. I don't know if y'all noticed right now. It went high, and then boom. All right? Yeah. Now it's esports 2.0. And that's because you got people, indie game developers, you got more mobile games, you got esports titles that are intentionally designed like AquaBall League. We are designing this to be an esports game and title for our esports league. Okay, so when you do that, you know, you can really keep esports, the whole industry alive, and it still is hot. Especially again the big tournament, and what's the big tournament called in Abu Dhabi? Evo one, the one.
Oh, you're talking about Evo.
Well, it was $10 million. Esports League.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Esports League. Yeah, the one in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
How much was the cash prize?
Depending on the game, but I remember Street Fighter 6 grand prize was like
Exactly.
like 500,000.
Yeah, it's like millions of dollars though, right? It was like if they had teams, they had a team-based organized structure where the Team Falcon, for instance, which was owned by one of the Saudi esports team league, they basically say, hey, you can win. You win a particular game, whether it's Street Fighter, whether it's one of the mobile games or one of them, whatever. You win those games, you win cash prize. But then if you win the big trophy, if you get the most points out of all those particular tournaments, you win that $1 million prize, and they split that money. So we explain to kids that yes, this is a viable market space, that you could be in the esports industry, you can be a game developer, or you can be a professional gamer or content developer. You can learn from us how to work the microphone, how to produce on the camera, how to write, how to be a shoutcaster, so forth and so forth. So this is a viable market, and you know, just we want to talk about it and share it. Kids love gaming, so we're going to do it. Again, video game industry, as you know, this is definitely one of the largest industries in the world, if not the largest. And it combines everything that we think. I got my start in music and in art and stuff like that. And then, of course, I started developing games. But I'm telling you right now, it's still a viable market space. And I don't know how you feel about it, but.
No, this is absolutely amazing. Thank you for showing these statistics. And you know what happens is once you inspire or kids have access to these things, you know, they may want to matriculate into other educational programs, right? So I have my colleagues, one at the University of Maryland College Park, Sergio Brack. He is the esports director for their program. And then I also have my...
He knows him.
Right, Sergio, yeah. And then I know his colleague, who is also one of my co-founders for another program, Jay DeShong, at Grand Canyon University, who also runs their esports program down there. So you create, it's like football, right? You start out with Pee Wee, Pop Warner type stuff, right? Then you go into high school, JV, varsity, and then go to college, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, NFL, right? We can also create a pipeline for esports as well.
Let's do it.
That pipeline extends beyond just gaming. Like I know people who work with Sergio who are shoutcasters right now for him. And
Exactly.
And they went to the Smith School, not Smith School, but the School of Journalism.
Yes.
And a lot of times, if you do not end up, you know, for instance, esports is still growing, and you got transferable skills. And you know, as a game developer, he can take these Unreal skills and again work in media, work for other companies, and you can see the pathways. That's what we partner. Our partners like AstraZeneca, universities at Shady Grove, and some of the other universities and other institutes like Fulton Bank we work with. They help and see this as a viable space for us to continue to do workforce development. That's what we all are about. Schools are really about providing the next workforce. Wouldn't you say so? If you think about it, we're teaching kids at an early age, hopefully setting them to let them steam their own dreams or whatever, but it's all about, hey, I need an astronomer. I need the next autonomous drone pilot. I need this. I need that. Those job codes are what we're trying to fill in what we do. That's the reason why we do what we do, right? Steaming it. And just some numbers, just so you know, and I'm just going to stay on this slide for 2 minutes. One of our biggest highlights of last year was in Baltimore. We were able to help increase math scores at a Baltimore City public school from 11%. It's a huge jump through our gamified programming. And I'm talking about our STEAM XR sports model. Again, they're doing the brain games, they're doing the playground game, and they're doing the e-gaming and esports. And we were able to keep kids excited and engaged, and they had 36 scholars that demonstrated that. Ocean Bowl is growing. Ocean Bowl games itself is growing year over year. And this goes back again to what you were asking, sir, which is, hey, how do we build community? Because we're growing. We started in 2021. We started with 24 kids. Then we went up to 100 and some kids. Then we went up to 300 kids. And then now we're going like bananas. And we see it as we see it as an opportunity to do like a big convention center. Like we just invite kids. We want to build an esports community pipeline. I know there are a lot of esports federations and stuff like that. But, I haven't. had any real serious conversation with anybody about joining one of those federations or whatever. But I would much rather start local first and really build a community around esports and say, hey, let's have this alliance where you have a game that you specialize, we have a game we specialize, then we have a big old convention tournament like that. Okay, just some ideas. As we now move on, listen. Community and collaboration is how we got this thing going. And I'm showing you a video of like Javon here. Javon, you didn't know I did this.
Me too, short too. He's one of the top AquaBall players in the Ocean Bowl realm. If you're eager to elevate your skills like him, press A to begin your training and discover how to play the beautiful game in the sea, AquaBall.
He's getting embarrassed by his own voice.
Hey, me too, short too.
You hear the voice
He's one of the top AquaBall players in the Ocean Bowl realm. If you're eager to elevate your skills like him, press A to begin your training and discover how to play the beautiful game in the sea, AquaBall.
When Javon and I first met and talked, I was on my way to Tribeca Games, Film Fest and Games Festival in New York, and him and I talked for about an hour. And I'm listening to his voice. I'm like, man, his voice is nice. I'm like, and me being a producer, I was like, man, I'm gonna try him out. So I said, Javon, you know what, buddy? Let me check you out. So what you just saw was me. I use Adobe tools to build a lot of my stuff. I use Character Animate. I use Adobe Audition. I use Adobe Audition to take his voice, right, his original voice. I say, hey, record this as much as high octave as you can,
and without
squeezing the private parts.
Oh my God! But yes, I tried.
He tried, and he got up there, right? But then I still had to go into Audition to like fine tune it and get it. And I'm still not there. I believe I want to work on it some more. But let me show you this. What the whole idea of is to put you in the game because you're going to be the voice that provides the training module.
Me too, short too. He's one of the top AquaBall players in the Ocean Bowl realm. If you're eager to elevate your skills like him, press A to begin your training and discover how to play the beautiful game in the sea,
now, Javon,
AquaBall.
Javon, did that sound like you?
It's just, I've just never been inside of a video game before, so it is
surreal.
That's the best word you could describe it, because right now I don't know if I want to hide under this table or shout for joy. I kind of want to do both at the exact same time.
All I can say is that I had the same reaction because he forced me to do
audio
for a special move in the game. Trust me, it feels very cringe.
I use my team,
but you have your identity of it. You have to. It feels very weird to say embrace it because I still sometimes get very cringed at it. Yeah. But you gotta be. You wear your heart.
I use y'all nicely. I asked y'all nicely.
But I said you wear your heart when you do this kind of stuff. You wear your heart on your sleeve with it, so you have that heart in it. You can infuse it with that, and that's also part of why I love doing game development and projects in like Blender and stuff so much. Yeah, because it always delivers a piece of yourself into your narrative.
Yeah. All right, we come to the grand finale. We're on a slide. Hey, we don't have to do the Mentimeter because again, we've had a pretty good. Again, I think
nice photo, bro.
A nice flow.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a nice flow. I need somebody to come join me. I'm gonna let Javon choose anybody in the audience who wants to play, and then you can switch over.
Yes.
We're gonna have a grand finale, and to earn the team. Remember, remember when I say about rapid prototyping. The whole idea behind AquaBall League is I'm combining some of the features of something I grew up. I taught my kids how to play Pokemon and trading games. Well, when you have and build your character through Steam it, like the Arctic and the Penguin, it'd be your card. That'd be your game character. And then sometimes you'll be able to unleash that character during game time. You would learn it. Now, a lot of times during Ocean Bowl games and other esports events they have to do math or some kind of STEM to earn a team power-up. Okay? Today, for the sake of time, we're just going to give you a team power-up. So, Javon, you get to say who's going to play. Because who's going to play on Team Roman?
Yes. Who would like to volunteer as tribute?
Anybody would love to come play on Team Roman versus Team...
You'll have two experienced people, and then you have Javon who hasn't...
Right, like, this is my first time playing as well. So, I'm winging it.
You'll get hit. You'll get
just like you.
Coaches.
Any brave souls in the audience?
Any brave souls? All right, come on up. Let's go. Let's go. Come on up.
You got.
I'm also first time at this,
Yeah.
Yes. Let's do
Come
it.
on up.
Let's
Come on
do it. Yes.
This is the fun part. I told y'all I'm very much. And be careful. Come on.
Anyone else game?
And then if anybody would love to pick, you know where it'll be, because I would love to talk about this kind of code stuff.
Yes.
I'm not gonna nerd too much, but we're always.
You guys are team Roman. So you guys can play in the same squad.
Okay.
And how to play this
Oh,
game?
shoot. All right.
You press A to jump. You press X to hit the ball, or B to hit the ball.
X.
Yep. X is right there. B is right there. Right. Now
Allow
the
me
key is to
to-
really grab the ball a lot.
Roman,
But-
I gotta reconnect the controllers. So
Okay.
My
All right.
apologies.
No, I'm explaining.
Alright,
Why you're doing that. So to grab and hold the ball, you press and hold down the left LB, the left bumper. You press
This
and hold
one is
that down.
mine.
And you want to keep an eye on your stamina when you're grabbing the ball, right? Because if you run out of stamina, you'll lose the ball, or somebody can whack the ball loose. You whack the ball by just going to your opponent, just hit X real fast, right? Or B, you can knock the ball loose by smacking, or you can grab it from them. You can press LB and hold it down, and you'll grab the ball. That's called a tug battle. You'll see that in the game. Now,
Where is mine?
my team over here has we're at a little bit of a conundrum. Can y'all
you go.
see very good?
Fair.
Yeah, okay. Let's turn a little bit this way.
Let's go
Yeah.
this way.
This is what it's about true esports, right?
We're good. We're good. We're good.
There you
We're
go.
good.
We're couch gaming.
Yeah.
Look.
All right.
Look. All right.
So how to play this game again? I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna say it with the microphone. How you
Oh,
play
yeah,
it
I've
is
seen something.
you
Sorry.
you move your controller. We're using PC Xbox controller.
You're gonna see something that-
You move it with the left joystick, right? And then you can press A to jump, because you will need to jump sometimes. You press X to hit the ball. Press B to hit the ball. B gives you more of a higher hit power. But one of the most important buttons, other than hitting the ball, because you want to use a combination of both hitting the ball and grabbing it and running with the ball. And
maybe if I-
LB, the left bumper ball. Now,
Player 3.
is it working?
I don't know.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh,
All
wait,
right.
I know what I am. I'm player 4.
There you go. I took you off of
Okay.
USB. All right. Once you choose your character, you can press A. I'm gonna go with one of my favorites.
Okay. So I can. Okay. Let's go with the alligator.
Yep. And I did do some of
And
these
then
like
who's player
animations.
four? You're player 4?
Yeah, I press A.
Okay.
All right.
So we're all good.
Yep. A lot of this programming did take a long time to figure out, but I'm just gonna put in different initials.
While they're doing that, anybody have any questions?
Especially anything programming wise and stuff. What are your initials?
JH.
And then
RG.
there are a lot of people with G in their name. Alright, I'm just gonna do this. Some of the stuff I did was through Unreal Engine's user interface stuff.
Nice.
So it did take a bit, but user animations in their widgets are not that bad to pull off.
So is this for each person who had a card at the start of the game?
Exactly. So for this screen, there are individual power-ups and then there are team power-ups. For this screen, everybody can get, for quick play, you can randomly get one of these 3. And then if you had an additional power-up card, as you'll see, you're able to put that in to get some more. So that's why I have like the times 1, because it shows you how many cards you have. And so if you had another power-up code, you can enter it. We're just gonna pretend that I totally didn't just become lazy and put in like just the same number 7 times. Sometimes you just gotta be lazy with it and make sure for testing purposes that something works. Oop. All right.
Wow.
This is in editor, by the way. This is not an actual build. Though I do have the build on here, so I've shown it.
Okay.
Wait, I went random and I got the same.
Oh, guys, 3 Croc X's.
It was 3 squids earlier.
Okay.
Please do not use your power-ups. All right, Javon, we gotta go this way.
Okay.
Oh, right. I have to grab with the shoulder.
Okay.
Crap.
Wait. Oh my gosh.
So if you press Y, every character has a special power up.
Okay.
I just used mine, which was an ink shot, and
Whoa. Okay.
Javon just. Oh God, no! Why did everybody go giant? Oh, come on. Nope.
Oh no.
Oh wait.
Oh no.
There are.
Oh no. Okay.
Wait a minute. I thought holding the ball with a soccer ball is illegal.
Wait.
Oh.
Yeah. Aw.
No.
Javon, help me out. Javon, help me out.
I'm trying.
Go over there.
I'm trying.
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, shameless plug, but thank you to MAGFest.
No.
We did have- Hopefully, it's an appropriate use, Javon.
Yes, I approve.
Okay.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh God.
Oh no. Oh no.
There it is.
When the ink splatters on the screen, it really does take up the screen.
Yeah.
I cannot see anything.
It is meant to be very confusing.
Okay.
Y is
Big
power
mode.
up.
Big mode.
Yeah.
Big
Wait, what was
mode.
X again?
Push it. Put X is to hit.
Yes.
X and B are to hit. X is if you do it straight. B is you do it up.
Oh.
All right, Javon, we're up right now.
Okay. Awesome. Trying.
I can't lie. They're actually giving us problems. Where did it go? Javon hit it.
Okay. Okay. Hold. There we go.
It did.
I'm
Where's my cook?
Boom!
No.
like it spins around, and I'm just like, wow.
The spinning goal is meant to be very difficult.
Well played.
Well,
No, you guys are well
my
played.
God,
I was actually getting scared for a minute.
That was actually pretty dope.
I was getting scared for a minute.
Thank you so much. Thank you.